So it's that time of year again. Everyone's done bitching about the cold. They can now move on to complaining about the heat and the humidity. In response, I thought it might be nice to look at a film about people who actually have reason to complain about the weather. The Day the Earth Caught Fire is an environmental disaster film from 1961. The plot's relatively simple. The United States and the Soviet Union conduct simultaneous dick-waving nuclear tests, which have the unfortunate side effect of altering not only the axis but also the orbit of the planet Earth. This, consequently, sends us hurtling towards the sun and our inevitable crispy, flame-grilled oblivion. I don't entirely know where to start with The Day the Earth Caught Fire. It's one of the best sci-fi films ever made. This is remarkable for several reasons, not least of all the fact that its director also made... That's right, Val Guest, the dapper gent with an extensive and colourful career which lasted nearly 50 years, and a man who was also able to... Excuse me. Hi James, what's up? I'm doing The Day the Earth Caught Fire. Yeah, the BFI National Archive. Yeah, it won the Best Screenplay BAFTA in 1962. Yeah, I'm genuinely reviewing it. No, I haven't sustained a head injury. Our film's hero is Peter Stenning, a washed-up reporter who balances his career and custody issues against his full-time alcoholism. Things begin to look up for him when he meets Jeannie, an attractive and intelligent assistant at the Met Office, though it all does begin to look down again when she begins giving him information about the end of the world. Knowledge of the impending annihilation of all life on Earth has a remarkably revitalising effect on Stenning, enable him to get his mojo back and break the story with his long-term friend and scientific correspondent, Bill Maguire.
Slush for the 12 pounds I paid for my water circulator I haven't even seen. You want some?
I'm off it.
So I've noticed. It's a beautiful thing to watch a woman reform a man. Only needed the earth to catch fire.
Glad you approve.
This film succeeds on so many levels, not least of all its staging. Rather than fixate upon the scientists and military personnel in the eye of the storm, what Guest does here is rely on reporters to balance the perspectives the story is seen through. Stenning is close to the street, and his relationship with Jeannie means that he's able to comment and draw upon events as they happen in the real world.
If you're not interested, to hell with it.
Unwind, for God's sake. How do I know if I'm interested? What sort of something?
Well, they're putting up long sheds, you know, the army type. And there's trucks full of piping and shower bath fittings, 500-gallon water tanks.
The editorial staff of his paper managed to place everything in the appropriate political and sociological and media context. And the fact that his best friend is the science correspondent means that the film can express its environmental concerns while simultaneously providing all of the scientific exposition we need.
Nutation? Well, it's a slight oscillation on the Earth's axis. It's caused by the pull of the sun and the moon
It's
on
changed.
the equator. You see, there's a slight bulge on the...
There's also an item here about axis rotation. There's been an 11-degree variation, whatever that may mean.
Where'd this come from?
Never mind where it came from, translate it.
It means I was right.
Oh, congratulations.
They've shifted the tilt of the Earth. The stupid, crazy, irresponsible bastards.
And you know what helps? There isn't a weak performance in the entire thing. Edward Judd is rugged and charming, yet suitably deflated and confrontational as Stenning. Jeanette Munro shines as the self-confident but fearful Jeannie, and Leo McKern as Bill Maguire is practically perfect. McKern is probably the closest thing this film has to a big-name star, though apparently Michael Caine is in the background as a police officer somewhere. Despite having had a long and extensive career on stage, on television and on screen, Leo McKern is probably best known in this country for his role as Rumpole of the Bailey. McKern's portrayal of Maguire is potent and effortless. Maguire is sharp and wry, but his cynicism is tempered by his dedication to his beliefs and principles. He believes in the truth, he believes in the reliance upon facts, and he believes in loyalty, which is best expressed by his attitude towards Stenning.
Find yourself a girl, Pete. Find yourself a dozen.
I've got your permission, have I, Dad?
Permission? My thoughts will be with you.
It's a captivating performance, and like everything else, it springs from the taut script that Guest wrote with the playwright Wolf Mankiewicz. I love the scenarios, I love the characterisation, I adore the dialogue.
I suppose it couldn't be a mistake.
It is. The daddy of all mistakes.
Funny how when the chopper falls, everyone just accepts it.
What else when it's your neck under it? Fellow here from Leeds says he's found a method of extracting water from the atmosphere. Oh, as you were, he's been certified.
It has this walk fast, talk fast pacing to it that would be very familiar to modern audiences. Aaron Sorkin could have written this film.
Don't mean. I was going on holiday next month. You think I should cancel it?
Anything that cancels your life insurance. Sell up and have an orgy.
Nice public-spirited advice.
Oh, do me a
Can't
favour.
anything be done, Mr. McGrath?
Yes, there's something you can do right away. Pop off to the library. Bring me everything they've got on melting points.
The Day the Earth Caught Fire is reasoned and balanced and patiently critical about our hubris and pettiness and self-destructive tendencies. And while they were able to make a thrusting yet engaging critique of the Cold War, Mankiewicz and Guest were also way out in front in terms of discussing climate change. It's actually telling that this film came out roughly around the same time as J.G. Ballard released The Drowned World. Clearly, this period in the early 60s was a good time for great artists discussing our fragile relationship with Mother Earth. I really could go on about this film for hours. I could talk more about how skillful Guest is at manipulating tension and atmosphere, how his minimal use of colour at the beginning and the end of the film adds this entirely appropriate yet shattering surreal edge to things. And then there's the masterful, ambiguous ending. But honestly, you need to just see it. It's a masterpiece, and I urge you to pick it up.
What do you think you're doing?
We're making a great clean end, man. Real cool, clean finish.